I
I
am
enough.
enough.
This is Caden eating everything. So you guys already know who I am, but now I'm introduce Caden's friends.
I'm Kat, and I'm a pansexual female, and I prefer the female pronouns.
Hi, I'm Ashley. I'm straight and I prefer the female pronouns.
I'm Courtney and I'm bisexual and I prefer female pronouns.
He came out as being trans when we were in GSA like 2 years ago, I think. We were the first people that he told, and like when he eventually told his mom, I was like the first person he texted.
Why do you get the privilege of being like the first person?
I don't know. Like I said, we were in GSA together, and our group was very, very small. There's only about maybe 6 of us in GSA that stayed through the entire thing of it existing at our school. And so we're all really close, and I don't know, I don't gossip, as I guess you knew that. So
You're somebody you can trust.
yeah.
I actually met him at Common Roots.
The LGBT Center?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was actually introduced to it by Denzel. He's my best friend. So, and then Caden it was like me, then it was Denzel, then it was Caden.
Yeah.
Denzel, he was like, he took me into the other room. He was like, oh, well, Caden thinks you're cute. And I was like, well, he's cute too, but I don't know him. So I think he took Caden's phone and texted me from Caden's phone. Then, you know, me and Caden, we talked from there, and I actually had no clue he was trans, no clue. That night, we had texted some, and then we planned on, I think, going out to eat. So, I mean, I agreed to go, but I didn't really know. Denzel told me that he was trans.
So what were your thoughts like immediately like when he told you that?
Why didn't anyone tell me? Like
Anyone or Caden?
Caden, yes. And Caden was like, well, that's not the first thing I think to tell someone. And I'm like, but it would have been nice to know.
What were your thoughts about you being trans and like going on a date and stuff? Like, did you want to tell her about that? Was it even in your mind? Like,
Honestly, I thought she just knew because straight out of youth group said that. I just assume that everybody knows. Well, I think sometimes too, like I just don't even think about it. Like even though I'm trans, like I don't just be like, hey, I'm Caden and I'm trans. Nice to meet you. And I knew I was a boy. Like I was 2.5. I went to Catholic school.
Okay.
1st through 5th grade. Girls had to wear one thing, the boys had to wear another. At the time, it just didn't make sense to me as to why I couldn't be like them. I remember asking one of the boys if I could play football with him. He was like, oh, a girl playing football, I don't know, I'll have to ask the other boys. And then they actually found out that I could play football. And so they were like, oh yeah, okay, you can play with us now.
I first became friends with Caden in middle school. We were in like a club and we argued over American Idol all the time.
When he was all obsessed with David Archuleta, I thought it was annoying because I was like, she's one of those girls who obsesses over guys all the time. It's so ridiculous now, but back then I was like, oh, it's so weird to think back. I forgot all about that. Yeah, I didn't really like him back then because I thought he was one of those like annoying girls who obsessed over guys because all I ever talked about was David Archuleta.
when did things shift for you in terms of realizing your own identity?
I'd say like 9th grade when I stayed with my grandparents in Michigan and they literally lived in the middle of nowhere. I had a lot of time to think and they didn't have internet, so like they'd take me to the library and I took my iPad to the library and I would just like watch YouTube videos upon YouTube videos of like trans people. I feel like I realized it before, but like it just kind of like solidified it and it like made me feel better about myself.
What clicked in your head though to realize that this is how I identify, like these are the pronouns that I want to use?
It's like when I was like first talking to you, you're like, so do you remember, so you were like, so do you prefer, so you like it when I call you a boy? And I was like, and then I like just stared at it for 5 minutes, like literally, and I was like, and then I was like, yo, I just stared at the screen for like 5 minutes and I was like, yeah, I was like, I like that, like, it's good. I was kind of lonely from the start because my dad worked all the time. My mom and I have never had a relationship, and so I was really lonely, and so I remember I asked for a brother, and I asked for a brother instead of a sister because I was 2.5 because I knew that I wanted somebody to like me. I got a brother. It was like all fun for a while, for a few years until he was 3. I was like 6.5. Then he was diagnosed with autism, so Asperger's actually. They'd only been parents for about 6.5 years. They just basically put all their attention on him. It was starting when I was like 7. I raised myself. I mean, I took care of my brother a lot because my dad at that time was not around as much, and like I would be the one to like give my brother like a bath, and like my mom would be sleeping, or I'd cook dinner for us. Well, now I have a sister who's 4. I feel like I've like raised her. Like I've like I remember I was the one who would get up at like 1 in the morning to like feed her, like when she was screaming, because nobody else would do it, and I'm like, okay. Now it's just like basically it's an expectation that my parents have that I like raise her, that I like do stuff with her. I've raised 2 kids.
What's one thing that you would ask of your parents?
If they actually realize how much pain I'm in.
What else have you struggled in life that has nothing to do with being trans, just you being Caden?
Paying for college is what I've been struggling with. I mean, it's all there. It's just, I mean, like the vision is there. Everything is set in place. It's just paving the way, paying the way, really.
What have you been doing now in terms of like activism and stuff? Even despite all the crap that you are going through, that you've had to like just...
I feel like even though like I've gone through a lot, like it helps me to help other people. I made my own campaign. Hopefully like once I'm in college and like things are settled, I can like pick it back up. I'm working with, it's called Bullying Stops With Us. I submitted a campaign idea for specific activism for trans and anti-trans bullying. With that though came working for Reach Out, which is an organization created to preventing suicide. And with them, I'm on their LGBT advisory board, their youth council, and I created a space on their website for trans youth. So after Reach Out, then I started working with Glisten for a little bit, well I still am. And I went to their 2013 Safe Schools Advocacy Summit in DC to lobby for safer schools. Then I've been working with the LGBT Center here, just doing whatever they need me to do.
What are your interests?
Now I'm trying to go for political science too, because there needs to be some freaking change in politics.
What's one thing that you would change right now if you could?
Same-sex marriage. Boom. For trans people, trans healthcare, like covering surgeries, because I mean, I feel like like for example, chest surgery, it's technically cosmetic. I don't know, I still feel like it should be covered under healthcare. I don't want to get a chest to look good. I want a chest to feel, to feel. It's more about feelings.
In 10 years, like, who do you want to be? What do you want to be doing? Where do you want to be in the world?
I want to be living in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
Working for the Washington Mystics with a side job of, like, helping, like, a politician or something, or working, like, doing trans activism, for sure. Hopefully, like, at least dating, maybe married, I don't know. Maybe a kid, I don't know.
What do you like to do?
I like to eat, sleep, I like to watch TV. Oh my gosh, it's summertime, there's so much summer TV on, it's awful. I like to play basketball. Basketball's huge, like I love to play basketball, I love to watch basketball, I like basketball. Well, I'm gonna major in sports management, so I can hopefully work for a WNBA team. The coolest story that I've had was last summer of 2012 when I was studying at Georgetown, and I was studying politics and everything, and so there was people from both sides, and there was this one conservative Republican guy, and we got to be really good friends. And he said, like, we were walking back from a class one day, and he was like, Caden, he was like, you're pretty cool, and he was like, and because of you, he was like, now I understand, and I don't understand why people are against gay marriage. He was like, I was against gay marriage before I met you, but then I met you, and I thought, why shouldn't you have the same rights as me? And I thought that, I just being me made one person realize that it's not a big deal, and I thought that was really, really cool.